Hello and welcome to Nolo Time, episode 62. My name is Obed Velez, and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
What's good, Nolo Time? Good to have you here with us for episode 62. Excited for another fun one. Obed, it's good to see you, brother. Feel
Yeah,
like I haven't seen you in forever.
I know, dude. Again, it's like repeating each week. It's like, dude, what the hell's going on? We're up to our up to our eyes submerged in work, but we will make it. We're almost there, Joel.
We just keep running.
I
We're
know.
racing. We just keep running.
I think, dude, seriously, considering how busy we are with work and life and all that stuff, I'm still amazed that we can still pull off a weekly show.
That's right. We care about you guys. We care about this stuff.
No,
See?
yes, seriously, we do. We do care about this. It's like even if you feel it, like I don't feel like doing it, but then it's like you feel like doing the show and doing something different just to break out of the craziness of the week. And it's just a good time.
I agree.
Yeah, seriously. But Joel, what you up to, man?
Yeah, I've been busy watching some good TV recently. I've been watching Amazon's Jack Ryan, that premiered this last week. They actually dropped all the episodes at once, so I thought it would be one of those deals where, I didn't know how it was going to be. Like, if it's going to be a weekly thing, like a Hulu drops them, or if it'd be like Netflix. I honestly don't watch a lot of Amazon originals, in honesty. So it's cool they dropped all the episodes. I am up to the fourth episode now. It's really solid. They've really done a great job on taking Tom Clancy's materials and translating it to the big screen in a non kooky, a non cash grab action thriller kind of way. It's a genuine story, genuine characters. Again, I'm not done with it, so I don't know fully where it goes. But from everything I've seen, and I even seeing what other people have reviewed who have watched the full thing online, fans are raving about it. It makes sense. Actually, as I'm saying this, I'm laughing. I'm looking at this is one of the bottles I got from Comic Con with Jack Ryan they had from there, but they paid so much money at Comic Con to promote this thing. I've been said it a few times on the show, but they paid ridiculous amount of money, and I think it's solid. It's gonna make a lot of success for Amazon, I'm sure, and it already has. And the funny thing is, before it even actually came out, they already greenlit it for a season two. They knew they had something really quality on their hands, and I would highly recommend anybody out there, if you have some time, if you have an Amazon Prime account, go ahead and watch this show. It's well worth your time. If you're a Tom Clancy fan, you'll be very impressed. It's a quality show.
Yep. The Affleck movies were good when Ben Affleck played with Jack Ryan. Those were good. There was a couple of Harrison Ford. Those were good too. I watched that last one that came out with Chris Pine,
Chris Pine.
right?
Yep.
Chris Pine and Keira Knightley were in that movie. It was okay. I mean, it wasn't a terrible movie. I know that movie sort of bombed because
Yeah.
like a lot of people didn't go see it, and reviews were sort of like in the mediocre sort of range. But at the same time, I watched it and I was like, oh, it's not a bad movie. I kind of enjoyed it. So good to see that they are for sure, man, spending that money on that advertising. Because
Absolutely.
yeah, definitely. I watched both Raw and SmackDown this week, and it was like all over the WWE time. So those commercials are really out there, and he looks good. He looks good. So man, can't complain. If it's great TV, that's awesome, man. Yeah, Amazon's definitely building that TV studio with some
Yeah.
quality stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
What
I know they're gonna be a big hitter in a couple of years.
what
Like
do you think about with the success of this show, assuming that it continues to succeed and does really well? What do you think about them adapting other Tom Clancy material? I mean, Jack Ryan is just one of many.
they definitely could. And there's other like action, suspense spy writers out there that would I think would be beneficial for them to get into sort of this sort of like TV um, space, especially online, with Amazon or Netflix. So that I think it's a good thing. There's definitely space for the Tom Clancy TV universe to grow. So absolutely, I'm all for it, man. I love that sort of thing, that sort of like spy thriller and whatnot. I always thought to myself that that would be the best thing to happen to something like Metal Gear. It would be adapting. adapting Metal Gear into like a TV thing, but at the same time, you do have condensed stories that have end caps. So movies would probably be better, although times constraints may be an issue. But I would think that would be a great format for something like Metal Gear, and they don't necessarily have to go with like the infiltration type of thing, because there's so much politics and so much geopolitical drama happening in Metal Gear that I think it would make a good TV show. But
Agreed.
yeah, this Jack Ryan, it's a great Tom Clancy property, and there's definitely things that they can adapt and make this basically a TV universe. So yeah, sure.
Nice. Yeah, man. I'm excited to see a future for it. But Obed, what have you been up to? I think you've had a little new obsession going on.
So, dude, all right. So I'm deep with Kingdom Hearts. So all right. So I got the HD remix and or a non HD remix. I'm sorry, that's the Capcom term for HD re-releases, but the HD remaster that came out for PS4. So I talked about playing Birth by Sleep, and that was good, and I enjoyed it. And I played one, finished it, and that was good. I mean, it was actually better than I remember the game being. And here's the big thing that happened to me over the weekend, because we had a long weekend this past weekend, right? So I had a pretty decent amount of time for myself, so I can go in and play some games. So I started playing Kingdom Hearts 2, and I remember I last time I played Kingdom Hearts 2 was back in 2007, so it's been 11 years. So I played it a couple of months after it came out on PS2, and I played it, finished it. I did everything that was to do in the game. So I actually 100% the game on PS2, and then never went back. And I remember it being an improvement over Kingdom Hearts 1, and especially talking in PS2, because they really fixed a lot of the technical stuff that was happening with the game. A lot of the control issues, camera issues, the frame rate, a lot of those things got addressed. So I remember the game being better than Kingdom Hearts 1 because of that. But I started playing 2 over the weekend, and Joel, dude, Kingdom Hearts 2 is a freaking good game, dude. It's good. Like there's like it's so I remember the first one being better. I remember I played the first one, and it was actually better than I remembered it. So when I played 2, it was like, this is actually a really good game.
Nice.
So I am really excited for Kingdom Hearts 3. Like really excited. Because man, and it's great. Like it's a great game. Like overall, it's one of those things, right? There's great examples of these things. There's like Street Fighter 1, Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 1, objectively is not a good game whatsoever. But then you go to Street Fighter 2, and the improvements they made the game into a masterpiece. I mean, it's not that sort of level, but the amount of improvements that they actually made, not to just technical stuff like polygon count and frame rate and whatnot. I'm not complaining about frame rate on the PS4 version, because it runs at 60 on all the games. Birth by Sleep 1, 2, and one thing I did started playing the card game that came out on GBA and got a PS2 remake, Chain of Memories. And I didn't like it. I played for like an hour, and I didn't feel it. I didn't feel the combat. I know it's good, so I just went to YouTube and watched the cinematics on it. I cheated because I wasn't able to get into the gameplay, man. So it didn't click. I know it's good. Like, it's not bad. I'm not saying it's a bad game, because it's not. But to me personally, it just doesn't click with me. But then 2 is like the combat improvements. Everything is so good. That first 3 hours of Kingdom Hearts 2, phenomenal. They're so good. And then you start doing the worlds, and then the improvements they made on the gummy ship and everything else. So, really good. So, man, I am 100% super pumped for Kingdom Hearts 3. And I know that there was an extended demo or a demo that happened over the weekend at PAX. And I haven't watched any of it because like I don't want to watch any Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm good. I'll buy it and I'll play it. I know it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm actually, I'm not much of a Kingdom Hearts person myself, but I was on the record saying it during E3, like the stuff that I saw from it. And mind you, I don't think they can put together a trailer that well historically, these guys.
No,
But what I saw was enough to make me actually want and actually go pick up this. And I've not played any of the other ones,
they're
so
good.
I actually may jump in myself. And I was actually talking to someone else recently about Kingdom Hearts. So I think this game is going to perform well when it comes out.
Yeah, like the even like it's again it's a complex story. Like the Kingdom Hearts 1, the strongest point on Kingdom Hearts 1 is that you can understand the story and you can understand what's going on. But then I mean you if you want to go deeper, then you would play Birth by Sleep. And then because Birth by Sleep being a prequel to Kingdom Hearts 1, and then Chain of Memories it's a prequel of Kingdom Hearts 2. Although that CG intro for Kingdom Hearts 2, it actually so all right. So talk about a masterpiece of an intro. I'm gonna keep going, man. So talk about a masterpiece of an intro. So the CG intro on Cage 2, it's a recap of Kingdom Hearts 1 and a very small fraction of Chain of Memories that you can actually understand what's happening. And then you jump into Kingdom Hearts 2. And then again, if you guys haven't played it, and if you're into Disney and and if you're into Final Fantasy, you should definitely play Kingdom Hearts. Like if you're not into like Disney and Final Fantasy, but if you're into Disney or Final Fantasy, even if you do it like that, I would highly recommend it because it's really good. So I am amazed that that game holds up, because it's rare when you find a game that especially not necessarily PS2 games normally hold up pretty good. When you go back to PS1 and 64, that's when you have some issues. Saturn definitely, but just going into a PS2 game and playing it is like, yo, this holds up. It's like it's been 11 years since the game came out, and he holds up as as well as a a game that would be out right now. So it's really good. So I am, dude. I was like, I'm in. I'm in again. It's crazy. It's
Love
crazy.
it. That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
No, I'm and I get excited for this stuff, and I'm a Disney nerd. I was like, I don't have some of my Disney stuff here, but I have some Disney, a bunch of other Disney stuff that I've collected through the years. But it's to me, it's just so good, and the gameplay it's just not. It's satisfying gameplay. It's good story. Of course, you got there's some voice acting here and there. It's kind of choppy, especially from the Square characters. But the Disney characters, it's like you don't need to worry about any of the Disney characters because they're voiced by the people that the voice actors that played those characters for the Disney movies. In some cases, the Beast has the same voice. A lot of the like Donald, Goofy, Mickey, Minnie, all those guys, they all have the same voice actor as the Disney properties. Again, the Square, some characters was like that. Someone would make like the genie. It's like, well, that is not Robin Williams, and you can tell. It's like, so you got not Robin Williams, and it's fine. I mean, he does a fine job, but it's not Robin Williams. So you have your Disney characters like that, but for the most part, everyone's in their characters. And I could go on and talk about this game, man, but yeah, highly recommended, Joel. If you find that the 1.5 2.5 collection for a decent price, I think I paid I didn't pay for it, my wife bought it for me, but I think it was like $30 so
Oh, that's
it's
good.
totally worth it, dude.
Yeah,
Totally worth it. Yeah,
that's
I
great.
think I saw it at GameStop used for like 20 more, but it's getting a little harder to find new. But I know that Best Buy still carries it, and if you see it on a sale or something, just it's you do have plenty of content because you'll have at least 60 hours of content, so it's not bad.
Nice. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped for that. Joe, but one thing that we're both pumped for, because of Infinity War left us hanging in that spoiler alert in that post-credit scene, was Captain Marvel. And we've talked about it. There's some leaked images here and there. We talked about the costume. We talked about stuff. But Joe, finally, yesterday we had our first look at Captain Marvel. Take it away, man, because I know that you're pretty pumped for this.
Wow. I didn't see this dropping anytime soon. I thought that maybe we would wait towards either New York Comic Con or around, maybe a little bit around Thanksgiving-ish timeline. But I'm very happy to see that the full promotion is in full swing. Captain Marvel looks great. I think my biggest concern going into this was her costume based off of the leaked images, and we talked about it here on the show a while back. However, we have to understand that the initial leaked images that come out was from an actual test shoot. It wasn't them filming her for anything in particular. It was just a test shoot, costume fitting as well. So, but with that all being said, I think that they purposely put this image out there to show us she's going to wear her traditional costume. She looks like Captain Marvel. We've got it right. We understand what we're doing. And that's what I needed to hear. I needed to see that. I needed to understand that they got it right, that they're keeping it traditional in that sense of who Captain Marvel is. With that being said, there's a lot of different stuff that we saw with this Entertainment Weekly push for Captain Marvel. More than just the headline big money shot of her in her traditional costume, we also get some other shots of Ronan the Accuser, which we knew he was coming back into there. Really happy about that.
Yeah,
I know some people didn't like him in Guardians. I actually liked him.
I liked him a lot.
I thought he was good, so I'm happy to see him back.
Yeah, I definitely liked him a lot. That was it was disappointing because I really liked the character, but his development was not great in Guardians, because they were doing they tried to pack in so much in the first Guardians movie that some of his exposure got lost in it. But I'm happy to see this back because I really like the character.
Right, I agree. I think it's going to be a much more positive exposure for him, for people to maybe understand his character more and appreciate more of who he is in the first Guardians movie. And not only is he back, we also have Digimon Hansu, who's back as Korath the Pursuer, which is awesome too, to have him back as another major Marvel character in the universe that also kind of went away after the first Guardians movie. So it's cool to see his existence for a while back in this movie. It takes place in the 90s. Yep. We also got a really cool shot of Sam Jackson, younger Sam Jackson, Sam Jackson, Nick Fury.
With twice.
So he's got eyes, guys. He's got both his eyes. And the other one that also stands out to me is Jude Law standing next to her. Obviously, they've got their traditional Kree costumes on, which is why we saw that green costume on her to begin with. Remember, guys, the origin story of Captain Marvel, without me going into detail, is that she gets a blood transfusion from a Kree alien. I believe that Jude Law's character, who has been a mysterious character, not been said who exactly he's been cast as. Obviously, we see him wearing a Kree costume. I have the belief that he is the original Marvel. I believe that he is Marvel.
I think I've already said that was his character.
Actually, no, he's been dancing around in an interview that just came out recently. But I mean, I think we all, we content, we get it. But yeah, I believe that's got to make sense for his character. It's amazing that they're packing. I was talking to someone else about this the other day. It's amazing that they're actually packing in the Skrull Kree War. We get look at the Skrulls, but to pack that into this one movie, that's massive, Obed.
Absolutely, yeah. They're gonna. This movie's gonna be packed, and we can assume that in some way or another, Thanos is gonna be in this movie.
I would hope so.
I think they have to link it somehow, because this is like the missing link between, Infinity War and whatever the next Avengers movie is, and they have to make sense of why she is the one that's contacted at the end of the movie. So
Absolutely.
they need to they're somewhere in there. Thanos is in the movie. I mean, I'm not gonna guarantee it, but in somewhere or another, either his name is dropped, something. It was like
I agree. I agree. It makes sense.
Maybe
I'm hoping
Ronan
for that too.
maybe Ronan would go like, whoa, if I don't do this thing, Thanos is gonna freaking kill me. You know,
Yeah.
even if it's by name,
Name drop.
yeah, he has to be in there somewhere. But it looks good. Like the costume looks great, man.
I had a conversation with you before this image came out or anything. I had talked to you and said, Obed, I was like, man, I'm trying not to get too excited about this like too soon because I haven't seen anything about it. I've only heard rumors, the stuff we see on the internet. It doesn't really mean much, but just being excited just for this character. We know that she's coming. And I told you, Obed, I said, like, I'm trying not to get too excited, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's better than Wonder Woman. You stopped me in the middle and you said, Joel, Marvel's gonna make sure that this movie's better than Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, you know something? You're probably right when you say that.
Yeah. I think they're going all out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean they know their strengths and they know the other guy's weaknesses. And I think Wonder Woman was a great movie. It had its problems, but it was great.
No, yeah, exactly. Now knock on it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that they're gonna make sure that's like, this is the female superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. They're putting a lot of money into this. I've heard people who said they're on set reading scripts. It's amazing or whatever. Reaction has been positive. They put this out to see reactions. I'd have to imagine with New York Comic Con around the corner, we'll get a trailer.
I think so too. Yeah, especially now that today Marvel announced that they will be at New York Comic Con. So
I know. Like, gosh, the 1 year I'm not going. I'm like, come on, guys.
Oh man. Yeah, I know that they're playing you, Joel. Playing you like a damn fiddle.
I know, guys. Come on, Marvel.
But it looks great. It looks great. Costume looks great. The Skrulls look like Piccolo from Dragon Ball Evolution. So I've seen some memes already. Because they do look a lot like Piccolo. It's the green skin with the pointy ears and the purple suit. It's Piccolo, man. It's it's really funny.
They kept it looking very traditional to the way the Skrulls look in the comics.
Yeah, they did. I mean the Skrulls kind of sort of look like a Green Goblin thing and I think it's because of the coloring of that they used in the comics. They sort of look like Green Goblin, but no, they look good. They look good, and Ronan looks the same. Yeah, I have zero issues with this movie so far, man. I'm pretty excited.
I know. Try not to get too hyped, but Obed, I think Marvel's going for the bazooka with this.
Oh, yeah, they're going all out. You know that they're not playing around, man. They're done playing around.
Not a game for them.
Yeah, no, for sure. But Joel, we'll do some jumping over to DC now. And we have some pretty big news this week that Henry Cavill, DC's Superman, it was cast as Geralt of Rivia for the Witcher TV series that Netflix is working on. This is huge. He actually showed interest a couple. I don't know. I think it was either last week or the week before. He said, "I was like, hey, I would love to play Geralt," and then today it just came out. It's like, yeah, he's in. So absolutely zero issues with this casting choice. He's a good looking dude. He's gonna make sure that he looks good on that Netflix screen, man. Especially with all the stuff, quote unquote, that happens in the Witcher. It's I think the Witcher is sort of like the Polish version of Game of Thrones almost. So
that's a good comparison.
Yeah, no, seriously. So we'll see. I mean, there's a lot more creatures and more magic, I think, but I think it's a fair comparison.
I agree.
Yeah.
This is interesting news to me, because, like you mentioned, this is something that he himself actually said that he wanted to be a part of. Apparently, it's like been a passion project for him. Actually, like he actually genuinely likes this franchise. So I'm assuming he's a gamer of some kind.
Well, probably read the books too.
I read the books too. Yeah. Exactly same. So I think it's cool just because, like you said, I mean, he can easily give a cool mix to this character on screen. I know people want Mads Mikkelsen to play him, but I think Cavill is a great choice
Oh no.
because
Yeah.
he looks young and they can easily put the white, hair, and it just kind of it's a little more believable in this fantasy world, right?
Yeah, exactly. You need to understand that Geralt's not old because his hair is
Exactly.
white. It's like, Sephiroth is not old because his hair is, white or silver. It's part of the, yeah, we're going really shreddy
Sweaty
over
here
here.
now.
We're going shreddy. We're getting into shreddy territory over here. You have to understand this is like part of like magic lore and all this stuff. And
Absolutely.
white hair being associated with elitism and all this stuff, so that's part of it. But I think he's a great casting choice. He I think that if they keep it like quote unquote European, he would do great. He doesn't have to fake an accent, and he's just himself playing a hunky a monster hunter basically. So absolutely, I'm all on board for this thing, man, and I'm definitely gonna watch it when it comes out because I'm
Oh yeah, it's on
really,
Netflix.
yeah, it's gonna be Netflix. I'm very interested to see what this is gonna be. So
Now, the thing that I want to address in relation to this is like you were talking about this being a DC thing. I'm sure you a bit saw online a lot of DC fanboys going crazy over this because they're like, "What does this mean about Superman?"
yeah,
Guys, you gotta understand. Um, right now, as things stand, between 2018 and going into 2019, there is literally no production going involved with the Superman character. You have Birds of Prey that's going to be in production. You've got this the Batman movie that's in production. And there's another movie I'm forgetting now. Oh, the Joker movie that's in production. Literally nothing to do with his character. And if you think about it, why is he going to wait a whole year just sitting on the sidelines and do no
yeah,
projects? It makes no sense for him. He's going to want to get himself out there and do work and get paid, and he should.
yeah,
But the other part about it is also thinking about what's the last performance he did for DC. That was Superman in Justice League, and he got a lot of slack because of the whole mustache debacle. I think he wants to kind of distance himself from that, like he did with Mission Impossible. Great job in that movie. And it's also a situation where should he come back for a project, he will have negotiating power with Warner's to say, I want to know what's up. I want to know what you guys actually have planned for your future projects, because I'm not going to just jump into this thing and then make you guys make me look like a fool or something. He's a smart guy, I think.
yeah. He's not waiting for Warner to just go around and just give him the go ahead on Superman. The guy's gotta eat. That's plain and simple. He's an actor. He needs to find work, and I think this is potentially a 3-4 season series, he being the main character of it. He's got pretty much like job security for the next 4 years, 4 or 5 years. Come on, man, it's a no-brainer. If you're
Yeah, it
an
makes perfect
actor,
sense for him.
yeah, if you're an actor and you land a Netflix deal, you have the next 4 or 5 years already set. And I don't know I don't know how many episodes they're going to do by season, judging by other Netflix franchises. Probably going to be like a 10 to 13 episode thing. So we'll see. I'm really excited, man. I'm really pumped.
Yeah,
So
good for him. I think good news. DC fanboys, chill out. It's gonna be okay. But good news all around.
yeah, yeah. Whenever he's needed, they'll you know shine the light in the sky and he's gonna show up. Yeah. Oh
Oh,
no.
nice one.
Nice. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. DC. I'm still like, I don't know where those guys are going with their franchises.
Did you hear the news this week about the Ben Affleck script?
No, I did not.
Oh, so one of the DC directors for their animated stuff, I believe, he actually got to read Ben Affleck's The Batman script. That was the original write for him, and he said it was the best Batman script he ever read.
Really?
Yeah, which is
Wow.
really interesting. I mean, we know Ben Affleck's a great writer. The guy did Argo and like
Yeah.
won an Oscar for directing, writing, and everything above. So I mean, we know he's a smart guy. So that's interesting to see what his take would have been, the what could have been, the what could what might have been kind of situation.
Man, now I'm super depressed because I don't even know if he's gonna be back.
Yeah,
And
probably
to
not.
know, yeah, and to note that there is an awesome Batman script out there that he did, and we may not be able to see it at all. That's super depressing. Yeah, I'm hoping that he gets better. Seriously,
Yeah, of
you know,
course,
he
absolutely,
gets the help he needs, and hopefully DC/Warner don't just cut him loose. Give him
absolutely.
another chance. He probably deserves the chance. I mean, he proved that he can pull off being Batman and Bruce Wayne in a very good way. So hopefully he can be back on those. All right, Joe, PS2. We know that the PS2 near and dear to our hearts. I just talked about it. What's up with Kingdom Hearts, amongst other games, including Metal Gear Solid 3, which is my favorite game of all time. Uh, Production ended back in 2012, but if you didn't know, if you didn't know this, guys, the Sony in Japan has been supporting the PS2, and that's about to end. So they just announced that basically had the customers had until August 31st to fill out the application and until September 7th to send in their devices, and that was it. End of support, and alive. It's done. Bury it. Good night, sweet prince. And PS2 is out of commission 100%, Joel. I know that a lot of people get surprised with this, but I remember back in the 90s, I think the NES, when the NES was around, I think, if I'm not wrong, the support for the NES lasted up until around the N64 days. So it was in support until like 1996 or something like that, maybe even later than that. But yeah, man, it was supported for 18 years, man. I mean, it's still the highest selling console of all time. So yeah.
I love PlayStation 2. I mean, generally speaking, I've had a great relationship with PlayStation through the years, but PlayStation 2 is one of those consoles that's also very near and dear to the heart just because of what it was setting out to accomplish. What a jump between PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2,
Oh
what it was
yeah.
doing. It just marvelous for the industry, and really they really went for big stuff there. And I remember opening up my PlayStation 2 and just the excitement and the joy of having that. And I still have it right now. It's in plastic. It's good. I want to take it out. I can. I've got my games ready to go. We're playing the Matrix Path of Neo, one of the favorites on there. Just I mean, just the console around, just solid. I feel sad to hear about this because it brings that nostalgia feeling of just thinking like, man, I really like that console. I really had some great experiences with it. It's the console still exists. It's just the support ending for it, and it's just the thought of how we've moved on so far in gaming. So it's a cool it's a cool story in the sense that causes us to have to reflect right on our past memories.
Yeah.
So we could spend the rest of the whole episode just talking about our memories of PlayStation 2, and it's a solid console is what I'll say.
Yeah, I don't have mine. Mine died, but I still have the games a lot of the games that I had for it. I did trade in a bunch of them when the PS3 came out. Not all.
Because it
I
was
mean,
backwards compatible, the first PS3, the
correct. Yeah,
right.
yeah. So you can still play, Final Fantasy 12 and Devil May Cry 3 and all that stuff on PS3 using the when it was backwards compatible. So I'm still looking around, Joel. If I see one in the wild that's in decent shape, I'll probably get it. I was browsing actually eBay not too long ago looking for one, but what I saw was weird because it was kind of expensive. A lot of broken stuff, a lot of like for parts stuff out there on eBay. So not a lot of good stuff. And then whatever was good was being sold for about like 80, $100. So it was kind of expensive. Yeah.
Just go buy some random garage sale or something, and like some mother that, like, the son moved out many years ago. So
Dude,
I had that, just like find it for like $10 or something.
dude, I've been thinking about it because my dad is a thrift store aficionado, and he says like,
Find
man,
it.
yeah, and he said it's like, oh man, I see this. There was like a PS2. He calls me, dude. It's like there was like a PS2 in a box, and I don't know. I was like, dude, just buy it. I'll pay you back.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah. It's like, well, I remember like my dad's retired, so he just so basically he just go to the thrift store, just hangs around and watches for good stuff to pop in, and he finds some freaking good deals, man. He actually bought a set of speakers not too long ago that the speakers on retail for those speakers are 700 each,
Huh.
and got
See?
them for $35 each, and they were wrapped like they were new.
See, man, like, you can find good deals out there. We're gonna find you a PS2, man.
Yeah. Well, I gotta find me a PS2 for real. Because I don't have, and I don't have my release PS3 because I sold that because it died 3 times or twice or whatever, and I was really upset about that. So when I got my replacements for Sony, I sold that one and bought a Slim when that happened. But yeah, man, it definitely the end of an era for sure. But it's not the end for PS4, Joel, because this week they are dropping a small independent game called Marvel Spider-Man, and reviews are out. Joel, reviews are out. Right now, it is sitting at 87 on Metacritic. I don't see it getting lower than that because all the major outlets are accounted for. So right now, sitting at 87 on Metacritic. A few perfects here and there. I think IGN gave it like an 8.7 or 8.6, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
But most of the outlets are over 9, 8, 9.95. I've seen a couple of perfect scores. I know that you're super excited for this, dude, and it looks great.
Music to my ears. This is exactly what I could have dreamt for to hear about for this game. I'm a huge Spider-Man guy. I've said it before on the show. Hearing this game be coming out, seeing all the stuff that's come for it, I've been hyped, hyped, hyped. Now it's getting recognition in the industry with reviews. It just sounds to me like I'm gonna be locked into something for a very long time.
Yeah,
So I will be picking this guy up tomorrow. That will be for sure.
yeah. You're not gonna get sick, are you? And not and call in to work. It's like, guys, spider bit me, and I can't come to work today.
No, guys, I'm responsible. I'm responsible.
You're adulting over there, man.
With great power comes great responsibility. Hey, you like
Oh
that Spider-Man plug,
man,
didn't you?
yeah. No, you plugged it in real good, dude. That's awesome. But I'm really happy. I'm really happy for them. I'm sure I'm not gonna pick it up tomorrow. But I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch because I know that for sure this game's gonna be on sale on Black Friday because it's gonna be one of the biggest games of the year. So I
Absolutely.
know it's gonna be on sale, and I will grab it
Yeah.
over the holidays most likely. But it looks really good. I don't know, Joel, if you had the opportunity to see the Digital Foundry breakdown, the performance breakdown. No.
No, I
So
did not.
but you heard about Puddlegate, right?
I did.
Okay. So for those of you that don't know, Puddlegate is basically when the E3 2016 demo was shown, or 2016 or 17. Was it last year or year before?
That was
I think it was last
17.
year, right? Yeah, it was E3 last year.
Yeah.
When they showed the demo, and there was one, different lighting, two, a different texture to the suit, and three, there was a puddle, like an extra puddle in that area where the enemies were. So when they showed a comparison shot from the in-game the in-game build, the full build for the game, the puddle was missing. The texture on the suit looked different. The lighting looks different. So people started saying, "Oh, graphics downgrade! Here we go, graphics downgrade! Oh my god!" And they started freaking out. Most of them were Xbots. It wasn't seriously. Most of them were the Xbox fanboys saying, "I was like, oh, you guys suck. Look, graphics downgrade." It's like, and they called graphics downgrade, and they haven't even, and they totally forgot about Crackdown. It looks like crap.
Oh,
So,
shade of it, shade.
dude, I'm being honest.
It is true though.
So, um, they started talking about this, right? So when Digital Foundry, I was like, all right, we're gonna talk about Puddlegate. Here we go. So Digital Foundry did the full tech analysis, and they found out that they actually upped the resolution across the board on PS3 and on PS4 and PS4 Pro. And that suit that he's wearing, the texture is completely different, and that's why the light is reflecting different on the suit itself. But they said that overall, it does have a performance improvement over the E3 demo. So it's interesting to see, man, because they pulled, Digital Foundry, they're the big dogs when it comes to analyzing performance on games. This guys are like frame by frame. They are legit.
Amazing.
So good frame rate. It's locked at 30 on both platforms. PS4, it does have a dynamic resolution. So on PS4 Pro, it gets close to 4K. I think the lowest it runs is around 1440p, but performance is good, and the game looks really good on both platforms.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna lie to you, Obed. Seeing the PS4 Pro bundle out there, every time I see it, my hands get a little twitchy.
Yeah, it
I
was
just
out
don't
again
need
today,
somebody to
man.
get it because I'm like, it's not gonna play my movies in 4K. It's just to play my games in 4K, and it's Spider-Man. But great power comes great responsibility. I'm gonna hold on to my money and hold it out. But I tell you, this man was tempted.
No, I was too. I was too. It's just that it's too bright. Like the red is too bright
Oh,
for
it's
me.
beautiful. I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
know, I know, I know, I know you don't have a problem with it, man. But I find it too bright, and just to have like a bright red thing on my um equipment cabinet, it's not gonna.
Stand right out.
I mean, it's gonna stand
Just
right
as it
out.
should.
Oh, come on. I know. It's just, it's
I could be a salesman for this.
you could. It's Spider-Man. You can sell to anything. You can sell anything Spider-Man to anyone.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah,
do with pride.
seriously. But it looks again. If you have a chance, Joe, watch that video from Digital Foundry because they
I
do.
will.
It's spoiler free, so they don't do any spoilers. But
Nice.
they do show how they're coming up with sliders, sort of like a PC type of slider where you can, you have a slider for motion blur, for HDR and film grain, and it's interesting to see how they're playing around with some of those options on console now. So very interesting to see. Go watch that Digital Foundry analysis if you haven't seen it. Highly recommend it. But yeah, game's
Nice.
great. Game's great. So Sony's got like 2 big games this year that came out, dude. And I think The Last of Us 2 is going to be summer next year. I think Ghost of Tsushima maybe late next year. Death Stranding, I'm going for spring 2020. So
Makes
or
sense.
yeah, or either spring 2020 or maybe even later. Maybe that's a cross gen game come out for PS5 and PS4. So
Makes sense.
Joe, and the last bit of info that I have here, I like to take dumps on Polygon and some of their work.
You're a huge fan. What are you talking about?
I don't know. They've had some personalities you know journalists, video game journalists,
Journalists.
and all these guys that work at Polygon or have worked in some cases. So I'm not the biggest fan of Polygon and when it comes to like their opinion pieces because I find them to be distracting If and we'll leave it at that. I'm not going to go into politics, but they revised the way that they are going to review games, Joel.
Nice.
They're going to change that. They're going to basically write an opinion piece on the game, but they will not give it a final score. So we've seen some outlets that have gone this route. The one that comes to mind is it's probably Kotaku and Destructoid. I mean, those are the two of the ones that I know don't have a scoring system. They just have an opinion piece. It's like, is it worth my time? Yes or no? Yes, and they will let you know at the end. With a yes or no. I mean, it's a binary system when it comes to that. But just a little quick of the excerpt that they have on the site. And this is basically just a headline on the article. It's like, games have changed since we launched Polygon. We're changing with them. We believe that the new strategy focusing on criticism and curation will serve our readers. I can't see the microphone. This is right in the middle.
Tongue tied. No, kidding.
We'll better see our readers. We'll better serve our readers than the serviceable but ultimately limited reviews rubric that we've had for decades has functioned as a load-bearing pillar of most for game publications. And I'm sorry, I can't read for shit today.
It's enough said there. I get it.
Yeah, it's like, they're refocusing their strategy, and instead of going with just a game's a scoring system, they're going to focus on curation and criticism. So what I understand with Agile is that not every game's going to get reviewed. So little Timmy's the procedurally generated game that may not be that great may not get a review. But Billy's procedurally generated independent game that's actually pretty good may get a review. So that's the way I see it when it comes to curation. I think this is good. I think that, especially when it comes to game reviews, Joel, we scroll down to the bottom, right? We see the game's review, and we just click on the page, and we immediately scroll down to the bottom to see the score. I think that this is a way to entice the audience on to read the article itself. And I think it's good. I think it's great for the writers. They get exposure. It's good for them. At the same time, they avoid a lot of the things saying, "Oh, this game is fantastic. One of the best games I've ever played. Gets an 8 out of 10." It's like, wait, what? If it's one of the best games you've ever played, why is it getting an 8, not getting a 10? They avoid this sort of trope that goes around video game review sites. So I think this is a step in the right direction. I may check out some of the Polygon stuff that comes out with this new review system.
I have mixed feelings about this. I see the positives, but I also see some potential negatives down the line. I think that, like you said, Obed, it causes you to have to really take the long approach with it. You're going to have to read through to really understand where this person's review is coming from, rather than just looking at it as a number, as if it's above this number, it's good. If it's below this number, it's just a bad game. But really understanding the theology behind it, from people who are in the industry and whatnot. And so I think there's just positives to that long road kind of approach to really grasp, what someone's saying. It's almost the same equivalence of, you can hear somebody, or you can read something on Twitter that's a quote that somebody said and it's taken out of context, right? Like, oh, somebody says something, whatever, and it's like, well, did you hear the entirety of it? And then you could fully understand. If you read the whole article, you'd actually get it. It's similarly, I feel like, with this, where it's like people would just see a number and they wouldn't really understand fully the thought process behind it, where in this situation now you're forced to have to really understand where they're coming from.
Yeah,
With that being said, where I think the negative in this could come into play, Obed, is the times where you could almost become too political. You could almost be in a sense of sometimes saying this game's good, but this game's good, but this game's bad. That you can write yourself in a review in a way of saying like, I'm on the edge with this game, I'm in the middle. And I like people who are straight shooters. If you personally didn't like it, and that doesn't mean I have to not like it because you didn't like it, but I just like it in the sense where when you get somebody who says their whole opinion, says how they feel and all this stuff, but at the end you're like, give me a number, give me something that tells me like, for you it was on this scale. I feel like for me it's a little bit more straight shooting. In some situations I feel like that is necessary, where I feel like this could be an opportunity for them to kind of waltz their way around certain things when it comes to reviews in general. Again, I think for the most part it's a positive, but I could see where it can become a negative in certain instances and can almost be laughed upon just because it's like we don't really understand what this fully means, because I've seen it with movie reviews. I mean, I've seen it with stuff where it's like people are like, oh, this actor is really great, but this whole thing is not really is not that good. But you should probably give us some time to watch it. But you're really gonna struggle with this, and this. Like, are you saying the movie's good or are you saying the movie's bad? It can almost be the same way with this. Again, grain of salt. I think it's a review at the end of the day, right? You should be just looking at the opinion and make a decision for yourself. Don't go watch a movie just because someone else says go watch the movie. You want to have to watch it. But same thing with these games. I think that's where it could be a negative, Obed.
Yeah, I think the big thing on this one is that Polygon is notable for politicizing a lot of stuff. And that's my only concern that I have, is that they can, they will try to write a review of a video game as it's, news on, I don't know, the economy.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And that, you run into that issue. That being said, I'm going to definitely check out the first part of whatever reviews they do with this new system. I'll give them a chance. I've known that I never liked Polygon that much because they were a little bit biased at times. And then after some gaming controversy event that happened a few years ago that I'm not even going to even mention by name happened, and Polygon was a big part of putting stuff out there and pushing certain people that claim to be experts in video games and were not, and were just trying to impose their beliefs. And that was a big problem that Polygon had a couple of years ago. So that being said, I'm still willing to give them a chance. I agree with you that in some cases, just to see a score would be great. I like Giant Bomb's 5-star system because it's not even a number.
That's great.
It's like 5 stars is phenomenal, 4 stars is great, 3 stars is okay, 2 stars is meh, 1 star is terrible. And that's fine. That's how it's simple, easy to read, easy to understand, no frills, and it works for them. So I think that's the one that I like the most, is the 5-star system versus a numbering like IGN, right? Because it gets me because IGN still they do like the 8 point, like with SpiderMan 8.6 or whatever the score was.
The math equation.
All right, why not a 9? Why not an 8.5? I have an issue with the 0.6s. Seriously. All right. So tell me, Spider-Man, is it an 8.5 or is it a 9? It's an 8.733419. I mean, it's not, Pythag. This is not Pythagoras. This is, game reviews.
But at that point, I mean, I don't know about you, Obed, but whenever I see that, I use what I learned in school, which is you round up, right? Like it's leaning past the 8.5. So it's already now got that point basically rounded up to a 9, right? I mean, it's 9. Like, why is it not reflecting that?
Yeah, so IGN needs to review their system for sure. Like it's either a 0.5 or a whole point. Don't do this 8.3. It's like, why is it 8 point? I mean, you're keeping it from being an 8.5. Why? It's like that infamous review from that IGN review for that Pokemon game where they one of the minuses was too much water, and it became a meme. It was like, what? Too much? What the heck is this? And then you get a minus, and you get it's 7.5 on the game or whatever. So I do have a problem with the IGN's scoring system. Is archaic, and I really don't like it. I think Game Informer has a similar system to that. I if I remember. I don't know. Do you remember GamePro, Joe?
Oh yeah.
Remember the GamePro magazines?
Oh yeah.
So GamePro was a 1 to 5 system, kind of like the 5-star.
Yep. I used to get those.
System. Yeah, so it was it was the guy sleepy, the sleepy guy, the nice guy, or the bored guy, and then the okay guy, and then the guy with his hair standing up, and then the guy going crazy. So that was like a very easy to understand 1 through 5 with an image. It was perfect. That rating system was perfect, and I think that after a while, I think it was late 90s, they started doing the 0.5s, like 4.5. 3.5 and whatnot. So that's fine. But then again, you're right in that in saying that they could just go around some of the game's issues instead of pointing them out directly in an objective way. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, man. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Joel, that's all I have. If you don't have anything else, man, take us home.
I will. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode of No Load Time. It's our pleasure to take time out to talk to you about all things we love, and we want to make sure you stay connected to us. So go ahead and give us a follow on social media at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. We also want to make sure that's really, really, really important that the way you keep getting all of our episodes is just by subscribing. So go ahead and subscribe to the show, whether you're listening to us. You can be listening to us on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, or you can also watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to us there. And if you're an iTunes subscriber, go ahead and drop us a review. That always helps out. In addition to all of that, we want to make sure you guys know that you can always send in your feedback, questions, comments, and sometimes we even address it here on the show. So shoot an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. Guys, again, we look forward to seeing you on the next episode here on No Load Time.
Thank you, guys, and we'll see you again next week.